Okay, if you're here because you have a busy life and you struggle with keeping up with balancing your work life, home life, and school life, and everything going on with also trying to create a fit life. And I get it is tough. And I'll tell you what, there is no saying I hate less than we all have the same 24 hours. It's just such BS. Okay, sure. Yeah, we do have 24 hours, but 24 hours for someone who's like a single guy living in his mom's basement who has no job is not the same as a single mom who's going to school and has 3 kids and working 2 jobs. Like, that is not the same thing. So let's just put that out there. But I will tell you this, it really does come down to priorities. So I'm going to start this video off. I'm going to give you a little bit of tough love. That is not usually my thing, but I think sometimes people need to hear this. So I'm going to start with a little tough love, but stick with me. I'm going to give you some strategies to help, but I have to start here. It's too important not to. I hate the saying, I don't have time. In fact, I don't want you to ever say it ever again. You don't understand how insulting it is to tell someone that you don't have time for a fit lifestyle. Not me. Doesn't insult me. Okay, maybe a little bit, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about people who are in your shoes, have very similar or even worse circumstances, but they still make it happen. And what's the difference? It's their priorities. And it's like, I always think about when I first started coaching. I was very new. I only had a handful of clients. And I remember one week I had a check-in from a lady who was basically the very beginning example that I gave. She was a single mom, 3 kids, going to school, and working 2 jobs. She trained 5 days per week. She would get all of her cardio in, she would hit her macros every day, and she was on point week after week after week, getting great results. And I got her check-in once, and it was a tough week, I was so busy, but I got it done. And then the very next check-in was a retired lady. Nobody home, didn't even have a husband, living by herself, basically no responsibilities. And she said, well, I was just too busy again this week. I couldn't even get my workouts in, and I think I only had her like on 2 or 3 days per week. And it was like week after week, well, I'm too busy. Okay, who's more busy here? The retired person or the single mom going to school and working a lot? And this is what I mean. It always comes down to priorities. I am not here to tell you what your priorities should be. That is completely up to you. But if you want to get the result, then this lifestyle has to be a large priority. Doesn't mean you have to punt everything else, but it does have to be a big part of your life. And I can actually give you a strategy that you can kind of take a look at something and it will determine right away, am I prioritizing this lifestyle or not? Because whenever you get busy, think about what you cut out of your life. Because what you cut out is at the very bottom of your list of priorities. So if every time you get busy, your fit lifestyle just goes completely by the wayside, if you really want to get the result, we got to bump that up. Okay, I'm done being a little tough. I know it's tough. I'm not saying that it's easy. I don't know what your life is like. I'm not trying to pretend that I do know or that it's easy or anything like that. But I will say this. A lot of the times the things that stop us, the thought of doing something is always worse than the actual doing of it. I heard a quote once that I really liked. It went something along the lines of, if you want to get something done, give it to the busiest person you know. Basically what they're saying is people who are really busy, they're just efficient. Like, there's no wasted time. They have a plan, they have a schedule, and they're efficient as hell. And that's what I want to try to help you with today. Because what I find actually kills people the most is not even necessarily, okay, like they have a lot of responsibilities and too busy. It's the all or nothing mindset. So you get it in your head that, well, if I can't be perfect with my diet, if I can't get 5-6 days of training in every single week, and if I'm not just completely on pan all the time, then I'm not going to get the result, and it's not worth the effort, so then you do nothing. That's going to kill your progress way faster than anything else. So that's kind of where we really want to begin today. How do you get away from that all or nothing mentality? What can you do when you are really busy? Because sometimes we feel like, yeah, I've got to get all this stuff done, and maybe you were trying to work out 4 or 5 days per week, but it's just not realistic right now. Well, instead of doing 4 or 5 days, maybe you're going to do 2, maybe you're going to do 3. Not only is that going to kind of keep you in the game and keep you building momentum, but it helps you feel accomplished. Like, if you plan on doing 2 workouts per week and you do 2 workouts per week, you feel good about it. You feel accomplished because you did what you set out to do. If you plan on working 5 days per week, but you get 2 in, now you feel like you're failing, you get down on yourself, and you end up just saying, screw it, it's not worth it. Well, it's the same amount of workouts per week, but in one you feel good about it, and one you don't. So you want to be realistic. What can you realistically stick to and start coming up with a schedule? This is the best thing you can do when life is busy. Plan and schedule as much as possible. And I don't mean just saying like, oh, I plan on working out on Tuesday. And I'm saying go into your calendar and block off that time, just like any important business meeting or anything else that has to get done, and say, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be an hour, it doesn't have to be that time, but whatever it is, just block it off and say, this is when I'm gonna get my workout done. Because when you're busy, unscheduled time just goes away. We don't even really know what happens to it. So without having a plan or a schedule, it's too easy to blow it off. So make sure you're going in and creating a plan for your week. Along the same lines of planning and scheduling, one thing you do that can be really helpful is just truly audit your schedule. I mean, just really truly look at your life, not only your work days, but also your weekends, and just look for times that are wasted. And if you're really truly honest with yourself, there's probably a pretty good chance there's times that could be utilized that it's just kind of wasted, whether it's flipping through your phone on social media, maybe it's downtime at night where you're spending a lot of time with Netflix and watching TV shows and stuff. And hey, you might say that, well, I've had a long day, I'm exhausted, I need that downtime, which, hey, I get it. And I like my downtime too, I take it. I'm not saying I don't have any downtime. But if you're saying I need that downtime and you're not getting your workouts and stuff done, well, it just goes right back to priorities again. Well, then you're saying that downtime is a bigger priority to you than creating the fit goals that you have. And again, that's okay. It's up to you. But if you want the result, audit your schedule and look for gaps in time where you can plan and schedule into that and make sure you get it done. One thing you can do that can be really helpful, not everyone loves this, and I'm not a morning person at all myself. I wouldn't like to do this, but it works well for a lot of people. A lot of people do really well getting up early and getting it done before their work or school day, because you kind of set yourself up for success. You get it done, you don't have to worry about it anymore. A lot of times it actually makes your mood improve. You go into the day with a win, you feel good about it, and that way it's like you can't get to the end of the day exhausted where you planned on going to get your workout done, but now you're talking yourself out of it because you are so tired. You're getting it done ahead of time. But it doesn't have to be in the morning. It can be any time. In fact, one of the things that I did when I first got started, I kind of forgot about this until literally right now, but when I first got started, I worked at a print shop and I worked long hours and all that stuff. And what I did is I had an hour-long lunch. So there was a gym that was pretty close to me. So I got a gym membership there and I just went over lunch and got like a half-hour workout in, came back and ate at my desk and was able to at least get started that way and get something done. So you could do something like that. Or something that's really underutilized is the weekends. And hey, I love my weekends. We all love our weekends, but we do have more time, less stress, less things to deal with. And sometimes planning to do more over the weekend can really put you ahead of the game, especially that Sunday workout. I really come to love doing Sunday workouts because it just it gets me ahead of the game. Like I actually kind of plan on a 4-day schedule of like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But when I get that Sunday one done, I have one less workout to even worry about during the week. It gets me ahead of the game. And I'm doing it at a time where I have more time. Same thing with doing something like meal prep. I'm not saying you necessarily have to plan out all your meals and get them all ready. It can be helpful, but even just ingredient prep, I call it, can be really helpful. Like what I do is I batch cook a bunch of chicken for the week. I tend to eat the same lunch most days just because that way I don't have to think about it or worry about it. I already know what I'm going to do. Repeatable meals can be helpful. If I just make all that chicken up front, then all I have to do is make my side of rice, which I just use the Instant Pot, so it's super simple. But you could even do that. You could make a big thing of rice and you could just have it all ready for you. It can feel like it takes more time because it does take more time up front, but you actually save time because you spend less total time doing things like making meals. So this next one is more for parents. If you're a parent, it can be really easy to get caught up in feeling like it's selfish to take care of yourself, right? To take the time to get your workouts in, do the meal prep and get all your stuff ready and everything. It can feel like you're prioritizing yourself over your family, and that can feel really selfish. And I get it. I've struggled with this myself. It's a tough thing, but I want you to move past this. I'm gonna try to help you. And I'm not gonna only come at you from the, you have to take care of yourself to take care of others point of view. I mean, that is a thing, right? Like if you're running to the ground completely and you're just a big ball of stress and anxiety and you're just completely exhausted, you're not gonna be able to care for others nearly as well as if you took care of yourself. So it is important for that. But I'm also gonna come at you at a different angle here too, because, and this one might sting a little bit too, I'm trying to be as positive as I can, I really am. But here's the thing with being a parent. Your kids are watching you all the time. They are learning from you and they are going to replicate what they see. So let me ask you a question. Do you want your kid or kids to grow up to prioritize everyone else over themselves? Do you want them to run themselves into the ground? Do you want them to eat unhealthy and never work out and never take care of themselves? I hope not, right? If you're doing that, that's what they're gonna see, that's what they're gonna learn. Don't beat yourself up. I'm not coming down on you, and I don't want you to come down on yourself either. But if you've been doing that, that's what you're teaching them. And you didn't know any better. So just learn from it and go, I need to set the example for my child that it is okay to take care of myself and that it is not selfish. Mommy or daddy needs this time for himself, herself, to take care of myself and show them that example. Okay, so it is not selfish. It is not. You have to take care of yourself. It's too important, both mentally and physically. Okay, a couple more things I want to talk about here, and I'm going to go back to work again. It's probably the number one thing I hear about, like, work is busy, and, I can't do things right now because it's so busy. One thing that can be really helpful with that is really look at it as, okay, is it just a brief moment in time where things are extra busy, and it's going to calm down again? Like, if you're like, okay, this week, it's going to be absolutely insane, and I'm going to be working 14, 15-hour days, and it's going to be nuts, and I'm not going to have time. Great. Back off. That's fine. Taking 1 week off, not working out, not a big deal. But if it's just the norm, if this just is what your life looks like, then you got to accept that reality. I'm big on accepting reality for what it is. We tend to, as humans, want to fight reality, but reality is undefeated in the history of time. It's always going to win. And you want to accept reality for what it is and work with it rather than, just wish it was different. And if your job is really busy and it's just the norm, then you got to find ways to work with it. And hopefully with some of these strategies that I'm giving you can be helpful for that. But in those cases, you have to be able to go, okay, like this is normal. Let's start creating a schedule, things like that. But it's totally okay to back off sometimes. But here's a big thing. If you're going to stop, even for just a week, you got to have some sort of plan in place to get moving again. Because I'm telling you, almost every single time I've seen someone give up on their goals, it has started by, I just need a break. I mean, I'm telling you, it happens time and time again because objects at rest tend to stay at rest. And the longer you're out of the game, the harder it is to get started again. So set a date, put it in your calendar, set yourself a reminder. Okay, today I have to get back on plan. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts. Get your ass back in the gym or whatever else, right? And set that plan ahead of time because otherwise it's too easy for that to just kind of drag on, and before you know it, months have passed and you've set yourself way back. So it is okay to back off sometimes. But also, sometimes you also want to really just look at it and go, it doesn't make the most sense. And this goes for like just really stressful situations in life. Yes, busy as well. One of the most common things that I hear is, well, life is crazy, so I need to take some stuff off my plate. And then the fitness stuff just goes completely by the wayside. It's kind of like, man, when you really think about like stress and stuff in life, it's almost always things that are out of our control. And it's almost like, even though it seems logical to take stuff off your plate, it usually doesn't actually help, like at all. And a lot of times, if you just stick with it, even though it'll be hard and you're strapped for time, but you find ways to get it done, it actually helps you feel better. It helps build wins. It helps build momentum. You feel like you've got some sort of control in your life. Like I said, almost everything in our life is out of our control, especially the stressful stuff. But you always have control of your food and your exercise program and stuff. Sometimes it just gives you some sort of sense of normalcy in a world that's just chaos all the time. And it just feels good. You always end up feeling so proud of yourself for doing it when you didn't feel like it, when you didn't feel like you could, when you were busy, but you get it done. That sense of pride, that's worth a lot. Don't overlook how much that can really impact things and make you feel good and just really help with feeling more motivated. You can never rely on motivation, but it's certainly a wonderful thing when it's there. And I'm just telling you, it really feels good. And it's how you're going to get past that, well, I'm just too busy thing, right? You show yourself that you can do it, that you can do hard things, and that you can keep showing up for yourself. Okay, so with all that being said, obviously life balance is tough, like really tough, right? Especially when things get busy. But I think balance is highly misunderstood. I think a lot of people look at balance and think it just means like you give equal effort to all things all the time, and it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes you're gonna give more effort in some areas, and sometimes you're gonna give less effort in some areas. It's never gonna be this just even thing, but it is tough to balance. And I actually have a video that you can check out right here that kind of illustrates how you can juggle like work and home life with your fit life and how the balance side of things actually truly works. So check that out next, and I'll see you in that other video.